want to build on the colleges.
Definitely.
I don't see Flint becoming, when people talk about a college town, I see us wanting to build on our colleges, create small business opportunities so that it's a place to not only get an education but get a job. But when you look at the map, this is a very small part of the city's whole territory, this downtown area with the colleges. So we want that to be strong, but then we've also got to have the neighborhood businesses, the small kinds of special stores that Flint's had through the years, and more when people are looking at where they want to live in a neighborhood, they're looking for those stores to be back. We're all a little tired of driving 20 and 30 minutes and miles out to these chain stores. We want something special. We want something that's unique right in our neighborhood. So yes, I'm going to do what I can to connect the colleges and create some business opportunities there. But we've got to look at all these neighborhoods all across the city and make sure that the small businesses and the small commercial strips that we've had throughout the years are strong too.
Okay, let's shift gears a little bit. Let's talk about Election Day. The primary election voter turnout was quite low. What would you say, if you had the opportunity, and you do right now, what would you say to those people who did not get out to vote, and how would you encourage them to come out and vote for you in November?
Well, every time I go to the polls, what I think about is how a very small act, I mean, the act of voting, you think about how much time it takes. I mean, this would be 20 minutes. You drive over to the poll, you get out, you just sign your name on the application for the ballot, and then you go in, and especially in this election where this is the only race on the ballot, I mean, you're going to be able to vote quick, get on with the rest of the day. And that small commitment of time can make an enormous change in this city. And oftentimes when we think about what it's going to take to turn Flint around, and we're talking about hours and hours and weeks of people working together, and we still have to do that work, but it all starts with making change at the ballot box. So I'd encourage everyone to take those 20 to 30 minutes, go to the school or community center or church where your polling location's at, and just go in and fill in that little circle. And when you do that, you can be a part of helping to make some big time changes in Flint with a pretty small commitment of time. Now I'm going to come back and we'll be talking to the citizens more about what they need to do, because we need our citizens to be engaged, and government needs to meet them halfway. So we'll get on to that harder work. But I don't think that going to the polls itself is a real challenge for most people. You just got to make that 20, 30 minutes of time available on November 6th and get in and vote for some change.
Okay, I agree that it only takes a minute to go vote. My poll is within walking distance of my home, and that's the first thing I do when I get up Election Day. I'm usually within the first 10 people to get out and go vote, so please go vote. The election's November 6th, right?
That's right.
That's right. Please go vote.
It's a habit like anything, right? That if you're not used to doing it, then you may think that it's somehow hard or it's a challenge. But for those of us who do this every election, we know that it's not.
It's not.
It's
not that big
a simple act.
Just go do it.
That can be a very powerful statement. And I know that when you talk to people on Election Day, we're often reflecting on the folks who have worked hard over the years to make that ballot accessible. And you think about what's happening in other countries around the world where folks they'll stand in line for a day to get that chance to vote in that first democratic election. And we're fortunate to have that choice multiple times a year, and we need to take it seriously.
Okay, just briefly, you talk about in some of your campaign materials and on your website about putting people first in City Hall. How do you propose to do that?
There's a couple key things. My philosophy of government is that it's there to serve the people. And that means that all of us who are public servants have to spend a lot of time listening to what citizens have to say, that it's people who live in each of the neighborhoods and have kids in each of the schools. Those are the folks who are the experts. The rest of us are public servants, the ones who want to do the work with the government, in this case, out of the mayor's office. So I've put forward a proposal where Flint citizens will be able to grade your government. And every time you make a service request, you're going to have the opportunity to grade that service, A, B, C, D, E, F, and we'll keep track of that. Okay. And on a monthly basis, we'll put out reports that show the level of satisfaction that citizens have with that service. And where there are problems, then we have to work to improve. We all know from going through school that it can be hard to move from that C to the B and the B to the A. But if you never get that evaluation, then you never know what you're doing right and what you're doing wrong. So you have to be willing to listen to what people have to say. That's one of the ways that we'll put people first. Another way is to start investing in these youngest children in the community. Because I've learned as a parent that by the time a child is ready to go to kindergarten, by the time they're ready to go to school, they've learned so much about the world, and they already have habits and behaviors, and we've got to get these kids exposed to the 21st century. We've got to get them exposed to all different parts of this community. So we need to have some special initiatives, and I've asked that we'll set aside 1% of the city's general fund, and we'll offer this opportunity to city agencies to put forward proposals as to how their work can be specially targeted to these youngest children. So we're not talking about new dollars, we're not talking about new programs. What we're doing is asking our agencies to have a strategic focus on children 0 to 5, because if we can get our kids ready for school, then they can enter the public school system, and K through 12, we're prepared as a community to spend about $100,000 per student if you add up the money that they get, per pupil spending year by year. So if a child can be ready to learn when they get there, then they can receive a $100,000 investment from this community. And I think that's an amazing opportunity.
It is. Well, we're just about at the end of our time. Could you tell the viewers how to contact you if they have any questions or concerns?
Yes, thank you. And just as we want people to have the chance to grade their government and give their feedback once we get to City Hall, this campaign is all about dialogue, and you can take a look at us online for those of you who like to use the computer at votewalling.com. You're welcome to give us a call anytime at our headquarters at 233-9190. I can also give you my personal contact information. I've done this on a couple other commercials. You can call my cell phone at 810-280-7684. So if you call the campaign and you've left a message and there's something that I need to hear, I may not be able to pick it up when you call, but leave me at least that message and let me know what's on your mind.
All right. Well, I appreciate having you here. And when people come together for the good of the community, they're on common ground. Thanks for watching. Good night. So you're sunk in the sand. So this is why we're here, putting out a call to open up your eyes so that we can see all of the problems, the mishaps, and the big mistakes, and separate the leaders from the phonies and the fakes.
Brought to you in part by Spectacle Productions, volunteer television at its best. And the Paul H. and Angela R. Herring Fund, determined to make a difference. Also by the Juneteenth Committee, asking African Americans to join the village, and the Kwanzaa Committee, asking residents to bring the holiday home. The views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of our volunteer staff and or supporters.